My name is Micah Mortali, and I am the author of a book called Rewilding, and I run a school called the Kripalu School of Mindful Outdoor Leadership, which I founded. And I train people to be mindful outdoor guides. And along with that, my work with the with AA is I help people who are living modern lives go from living lives that are screen-centered to lives that are nature-centered so that they can feel calm, confident, and connected in the outdoors. So before I joined AA, what I was struggling with in my business was that I didn't really have a functional business. I had a book, uh, which I wrote and which was published called Rewilding, and I had an Instagram following, and I had a name and a personal brand in the rewilding space, but I didn't have a clear product of my own that I could sell and share with people, that where I wasn't trading time for money. I have a full-time job, I've got a family, I've got kids, I have a very, very full life, and it's all trading time for money. So I didn't have a source of income where that wasn't the case. And AA has helped me start to move in that direction and make that happen. The biggest changes I've experienced since being a part of AA has been that I have gotten clearer about who I help and what the outcome is of my work. And I just want to say that that process, I hope this is helpful for folks who might be coming in, but for me, that process was very hard. It was excruciatingly hard at times and way more challenging than I expected it was going to be, but ultimately it was the most important thing that I could have done and has been so it was so incredibly important that I went through that process of doing that. Maybe for some people it's really easy. For me, it wasn't because I hadn't gone through that refinement process yet of getting really clear about the problem I addressed and what the outcome is. It was too vague and too broad. So I've gotten that, and I have also learned so much. I have learned about the sales process. Honestly, the sales script has been incredible. Doing my coaching calls and doing the 50 calls and going through that whole process, and then going from that to working with the script, I was really surprised at how seamlessly that transition happened from one to the other. And I have learned that I can price my offering, what it is I help people do, at a level that is fair for me and where I can actually make good income. And it was very exciting to see people be willing to pay. And I received this whole package that makes it easy to do that I never would have figured out ever on my own. So the wins that I've had since starting AA, there's a bunch. I think what I've learned through the exploratory process of doing the coaching calls, I've learned more about my work. I actually interviewed over 70 people through that process, and I gained valuable insights into rewilding and living a nature-centered life. I learned a lot of what people's pains and struggles are, and that has been incredibly helpful. I've learned a lot. The learning process is amazing. So there's that. In addition to that, I have learned how to run a business better. I've learned about leads and lead generation and nurturing people that are interested in my work. And I've learned how to sell. I've learned how to get people on a call, and I've learned how to learn what their challenge and what their struggles are. And I've learned that some people are a fit and some people aren't. And it's okay when people aren't a fit, and it's great when they are a fit. And I've learned how to, well, I built a whole asynchronous program, and that's a huge win because now that's up and it's there, and I can sell it to people. And I didn't have that before. So that's huge. There were so many different little things I learned along the way, from using Calendly and Thinkific and Stripe and all of these steps that I was so scared and intimidated about going into this. Things I thought, oh, I can't do that. That now, oh yeah, I can get somebody on a call and I can go into Stripe and I can charge them $2,000 and make a sale. That stuff I didn't know I could do before this. So, um, I could go on and on actually, but that those are a few things I've learned. So how this has impacted my life outside of my business. I'm at a place right now where I still have to work. I still have to work, but I have more income now that has given me breathing room as the head of a household to take care of my own needs. And I needed a car, so I was able to buy a car for myself. I've been able to do things that I wasn't able to do, or things where I was always worrying. And so now I've got more financial freedom, but I also have more optimism. And I'm starting to also feel more optimistic, I guess, because I now have an asynchronous business that I am building. And that has given me a sense of independence and a sense of, yeah, hope. And I've been able to create something apart from my regular full-time job that's my own that could see me through unforeseen things that might happen. In the world today, with the industry that I'm in, which is very much hospitality and working with people one-on-one, there have been different things over the years that have disrupted my ability to work with people. And having this asynchronous program and this business now up and running, I have that to lean into if and when I ever needed to. So it's given me a lot of peace of mind. Well, what I would tell somebody or myself when thinking about starting this program is that it's a lot of work, and be ready to put the work in, because it's very exciting. And I remember how excited I felt when I started. And as I got into it, um, there were months there of, you just have to put the work in. You have to put the work into it. It's not gonna happen by itself. And um, but with that, if you do, the reward can be really amazing. And it's going to stretch you. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to do things that you don't know how to do. There's a lot of unknowns you have to confront in this course, and I'm still doing that work. Like I'm still very much learning and figuring it out. And but when I started the program, it was basically this time last year. So it's been 1 year into the course, and I would say the first 6 months were really intense. And I threw myself into it fully, fully. Um, and and it's been great. And I would totally do it again. And I would totally do it again. So it's a very rewarding process to go through and come out, like go through your pop and lead a pop and learn all the things you need to learn about selling is amazing. And then just get into the next phase, it's totally worth it. But you're gonna really have to commit yourself to it, because it's it's a full-on process. But nothing in life that's worth doing is easy. I found all the most important things I've ever done were very hard, to be truthful. And but when you put the time in, you work really hard at it, and you put your nose to the grindstone, and you just keep going day after day after day, it's going to pay off.